What's up everyone, we're going to be going through the best NBA player props on Prizepicks today. Now I did want to show you the results from yesterday's picks from my exclusive Discord group, and as you guys see, we actually got 16 picks correct, which was absolutely insane. So we're on a huge hot streak, but if you want to get 16 picks right like me, win more bets, or receive the best picks from some of the best bettors in the world for less than a cup of coffee, you can access the exclusive Discord and meet some of the best sport bettors in the game by joining my Patreon, which will be linked down below in the description. Once you join, you'll have complete access to the Discord and can start winning more bets today. So make sure to join my Patreon using the link in the description. And here's one of our members who just signed up and won himself $250 just yesterday. Another member who won $210 for the 7th day in a row since joining my Discord. So guys, if you want to win big money like our members, the link will be in the description. So go join the Patreon to have access to the Discord group. And I will be continuing to upload every single day on this channel the best bets and props. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my daily upload. Alright, so let's get straight into the first pick. And when it comes to these picks, I'm not saying to chuck all of them into a parlay and hope for the best. Pick and choose the ones that you like and the ones that work best for you. So the first pick we're going to talk about is Nick Smith for 17.5 points, rebs, and assists, and this one actually is for less. Now look at Nick Smith. We've actually seen him go on the under in 2 out of the last 5 games, and they do face off against none other than the Los Angeles Lakers. Now we look at the Los Angeles Lakers, we see that they rank 15th when it comes to points allowed. Moving on into assists allowed, we see that the Lakers do rank 24th, and then rebounds allowed, we also see the Lakers rank 14th. Now, the reason why we do like the under for this situation here is that when it comes to Nick Smith, he doesn't seem to have the highest usage rate in the points, rebounds, and assist department. And we think with a matchup like LA Lakers, we should see other players in this Charlotte team have a lot more usage rate and be able to go over on their line. However, when it comes to Nick Smith, we actually see him going on the under here. When we look at Lakers as well, they do a really good job, especially against Nick Smith Jr.'s position. So we definitely see that being a big case coming into this matchup. Although his average over the last 5 is 18.6. He did have a recent game against Portland where he did have quite a high PRA, but we think that has pushed this line a little bit too high, that now there's a lot more value actually to go on the under here. So for that reason, we do very much like the under for this situation here. When it comes to the Charlotte and LA Lakers matchup, it is definitely going to be an interesting one. And on top of that, a lot of bookies do also agree with us. They do believe that Nick Smith Jr. is going on the under on his line. On top of that, they are also expecting potentially a blowout situation. If that is the case, it could definitely lead to Nick Smith Jr. not getting enough usage rate out there if it is going to be a blowout type game, and we could see him come off early. So that's another telltale reason there. So for that reason, I would keep an eye out for Nick Smith Jr., especially his line. So 17.5 points, rebs, and assists for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now getting to the next one, we're going to be talking about Jason Tatum. So Jason Tatum, as we all know, great player, and this one is for 3-pointers, and for 3-pointers made for 3.5, and this one actually is for less. Now, when we look at Jason Tatum, we've actually seen him go on the under in 3 out of the last 5 games, and they do face off against none other than the Houston Rockets. Now, look at the Houston Rockets. We see that they rank in 3-point attempts allowed. They do rank 2nd. When it comes to 3 points made allowed, they do rank 3rd. And then on top of that, 3-point percentage allowed, the actual Houston Rockets team also rank, a little bit lower, but they also still do rank pretty well, as they do actually rank 15th. So, or tied 15th. So for that reason, we definitely see someone like Jason Tatum going on the under here. I know we talked about percentages and they are a little bit lower in that, but when we look at attempts and also 3 points made allowed, we see that Houston rank very high in both those categories. So we may not see Jason Tatum get the same amount of volume that he usually does see from the 3-point line, which can definitely have a huge effect, and also not make him at the same rate that he usually does, since Houston ranks so high in 3 points made as well. So when we look at this matchup against Boston and Houston, we are also expecting a game where there isn't going to be a lot of pace. It is expected to be a pretty slow game, and for that reason, we do very much like the under for this situation for someone like Jason Tatum, especially with a matchup like this. So the fact that Houston are definitely going to focus in on Boston stars, with that being Jason Tatum, we definitely see him going on the under of his line. So for that reason, Jason Tatum 3.5, 3 points made for less, I think is a great pick. Again, to the next one, we're going to be talking about none other than Lauri Markkanen. So, Lauri Markkanen, another fantastic player, and this one is for rebs and assists for actually 7.5, so a combo one, and this one actually is for less. Now look at Lauri Markkanen. We've actually seen him go in the under in 4 out of the last 5 games, and they do face off against none other than the Milwaukee Bucks. So when we look at the Milwaukee Bucks, it is going to be an exciting game, do not get me wrong there, but when we also look at the Milwaukee Bucks, we do see that when it comes to assists allowed, we do see that Milwaukee Bucks rank 7th. And then also when it comes to rebounds allowed, we also do see that the Bucks rank a little bit lower as they rank 23rd. Now the reason why we do very much like the under for this situation here is due to the fact that when it comes to Lauri Markkanen, he's tend to see him have very, very low usage rate in both of these departments. Like I mentioned before, he's gone on the under in 4 out of the last 5 games, which is equated to his average over the last 5 only being 5.8. So significantly under this line, and for that reason, we do very much like the under for this situation here for someone like Lauri Markkanen. Now, when we also look at Lauri Markkanen, what we also do see is that when it comes to this matchup between Utah and Milwaukee Bucks actually do a really good job at restricting rebounds and assists to the big man position, whether that's forward or whether that's center. And we tend to see Lauri Markkanen switch between those two positions, and for that, we do very much like the under for this situation, because when we look at what the bookies are saying, the bookies also have in favor for the under as well. So for that reason, Lauri Markkanen 7.5 rebs and assists for less, I think is a great pick. So as you all know, I do want to get these picks out to you as soon as possible, but Prizepicks is delayed with some of their lines, so here are a couple of players you should definitely watch out for when their lines drop. So first player we're going to be talking about is none other than RJ Barrett. So RJ Barrett has been playing fantastic for the Toronto Raptors, and he's been averaging 22.1 points, 6.7 rebounds, 5.8 assists, while also shooting 47.2% from the field. So he's done a great job for the Toronto Raptors, and the Toronto Raptors do have themselves a great matchup against the New Orleans Pelicans. Now Raptors so far this season are 13-32, with Pelicans having a very similar record of 12-34. Now, when we look at the Pelicans, we actually do see that when it comes to points allowed, we see that the Pelicans do rank pretty low at 26. They also rank 25th when it comes to assists allowed, and then 27th in rebounds allowed. For that reason, we do very much like the over for this situation here, due to the fact that not only is RJ Barrett a very, very high usage rate player for this Toronto Raptors team, but Pelicans just rank very poorly in all 3 categories, and we see someone like RJ Barrett being able to take advantage of this. On top of that, RJ Barrett tends to play the shooting guard and sometimes small forward position, and on top of that, when we look at Pelicans, we see them really struggle against those positions as well, and the play style of actually RJ Barrett himself. So we do very much like the over for this one. RJ Barrett has been playing fantastic over the last 5 games. He's been able to, go on the over on his lines pretty consistently in certain games. Now, when we look at the matchup as well between Pelicans and Raptors, we also do see that when it comes to this matchup, it is expected to be a bit of a pacey game in a sense of, New Orleans Pelicans do rank a little bit faster in pace when it comes to Raptors, and we definitely see Pelicans actually coming up or bringing up Toronto Raptors pace to their level. So for that reason, I would definitely keep an eye out for the over here. Definitely could see a lot of volume from RJ Barrett. So like I mentioned, keep an eye out for the line first. If it is under his averages, definitely look to go on the over. So I see a lot of great value there. Again, to the next player, we're going to be talking about Dyson Daniels from the Atlanta Hawks, who's been averaging 13.5 points, 5.2 rebounds, and 3.6 assists, while also shooting 46.9% from the field. So he's done a great job for the Atlanta Hawks, and the Atlanta Hawks do have themselves a great matchup against none other than the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, when we look at Minnesota Timberwolves, they do have a record of 24-21. Atlanta Hawks have a very similar record of 22-23, and Minnesota Timberwolves do rank 4th when it comes to points allowed. And then when we look at assists allowed, we see that Minnesota do rank 5th, and then rebounds allowed, they also do rank 10th. So pretty high in all 3 categories, and for that reason, we do very much like the under for this situation here for someone like Dyson Daniels. Now, Dyson Daniels not only a great player, but on top of that, we also do see that he doesn't have the highest usage rate for this team, and we definitely see that being a big effect, especially coming into this game against Timberwolves, where they definitely and desperately are trying to get these wins. So we could see Dyson Daniels just do his job out there, get a lot of defensive stops, but when it comes to points, rebounds, and assists, we definitely see him going on the under here for those reasons. Now, when it comes to this Hawks and Timberwolves matchup, we are expecting Timberwolves actually, and to slow down the pace of Atlanta Hawks. Hawks are a pretty fast-paced team, and with Timberwolves not, usually being able to keep up with them, we should actually see Timberwolves coming into this matchup and slow the pace down as much as possible. So for that reason, it definitely opens up a big door for someone like Dyson Daniels to be able to go in the under. So definitely keep an eye out for his line, and like I always mention, when it comes to his line, keep an eye out for it. If it is too close to his averages, definitely look to go in the under. So definitely see a lot of great value there. Again, to the next player, we're going to be talking about Devin Booker, who's been playing fantastic and averaging 25.5 points, 3.9 rebounds, 6.6 assists, while shooting 44.1% from the field. So he's done a great job for Phoenix Suns, and the Phoenix Suns do actually have themselves a great matchup against the LA Clippers. Now, when we look at the LA Clippers, we see that they are 26-19 and Suns are 23-21. Now, we definitely do like, this matchup. Now, when it comes to LA Clippers, they do rank 3rd in points allowed, 6th in assists allowed, and also 4th in rebounds allowed. And since they do rank very high in all 3 categories, we definitely do like the, under for this situation here for someone like Devin Booker. Although Booker is a great player, we definitely tend to see LA Clippers really focus in and hone in on their superstars and restrict them as much as possible. So we definitely could see that happening to someone like Devin Booker. Now, when we also look further with this matchup, we also tend to see that when it comes to the Suns, not only are they a great team, but we tend to actually see their defensive strategy focus in on stars and restrict them as much as they can. So for that reason, I definitely would keep an eye out for the under for someone like Devin Booker's line.